Liam was drunk. When he got home, he tore at my nightgown and pressed me onto the bed, kissing me. We hadn't been intimate in a very long time. Ever since his company went public, he barely even came home. His sudden passion was overwhelming. But just as I was about to climax, he held me tight and, lost in the moment, cried out, "Mandy." It was like a bomb went off in my head. The fire in him was extinguished in an instant. He rolled off me and sat on the edge of the bed, his back to me. The bedroom was dark, the lights off. Liam was silent for a long time. After stubbing out his last cigarette, he spoke in a heavy voice. "Claire, let's get a divorce. Mandy isn't after my money. All she wants is a title, and I have to give it to her." We had been together for 11 years. From dating to marriage, to the outside world. He had always been the perfect husband. Successful, loving, and a family man. So, before tonight, it had never once crossed my mind that he would cheat. A heavy stone seemed to press on my chest, making it hard to breathe. I asked him, my voice choked with tears. When was the first time? The moonlight was like frost. It forced its way through the window, cold and unforgiving. It fell on Liam. He frowned unconsciously. 2 years ago, that business trip to Chicago. I remembered that trip. Liam had gone to Chicago to save a major deal. The company was facing a crisis back then. He was under immense pressure. I was in a terrible state that night, and Mandy suddenly appeared at my hotel room door. She was completely soaked from the rain, like a pitiful, drenched little rabbit. She just threw herself into my arms. I stared at the dark ceiling, tears streaming silently down my face. What was I doing that night? My mother-in-law had slipped in the shower and broken her leg, landing her in the emergency room. I hastily dropped our daughter off at my mother's house and rushed to the hospital. I didn't want Liam to worry, so I kept it from him, even finding a moment to send him encouraging messages. "Don't lose hope, honey. I believe in you. No matter what. Our daughter and I will always be by your side. Worst case, we sell the house to raise the funds. As long as the three of us are together, that's all that matters." It was the first time Liam hadn't replied to my messages. I naively thought he was exhausted, that he had fallen asleep. But he had been on top of another woman, lost in their passion. For 2 whole years, Liam had hidden it so well. Just last month, we had celebrated our 7th wedding anniversary, in front of our entire family. He gave me a bouquet of roses and a gold bracelet. "Honey, you've worked so hard taking care of our family all these years. Happy anniversary." He had pulled me and our daughter into his arms. My mother had even taken a family photo. That photo is still pinned to the top of my social media profile. The silence was suffocating, the pressure building like a rising tide. "Liam, if you weren't a multi-millionaire CEO right now, would that woman still be with you?" Liam fiddled with a silver lighter in his hand, silent, contemplating. A wind began to howl outside. A bolt of lightning tore across the night sky. In that instant, he finally spoke, his voice so steady it was almost devoid of any ripple. "Claire, I know you love me, but Mandy isn't the kind of woman who's after money. She's suffered for 2 years with no title, no recognition. I can't let her down anymore." So he had to let me down. In a city as expensive as New York, we were once so poor we squeezed into a tiny basement apartment, less than 200 square feet. We lived there for 3 years. No heat in the winter, no air conditioning in the summer. Cockroaches would often crawl onto our arms in the middle of the night. I thought love could conquer all hardships. But now, it seems the outcome was just this. "Liam, have you forgotten? When we got married, you cried and swore you would be good to me for the rest of your life." He heard this and thought for a few seconds. Then he said, weary and detached, "Claire, we were too young back then, mistaking the thrill of youth for love. But we're 30 now. It wasn't until I met Mandy that I understood what love truly is." Hearing this, I thought I would become hysterical, that I would at least lunge at him, grab him by the collar, and scream at him, hit him. Instead, I was surprisingly calm, even though tears were welling up in my eyes. I couldn't help but let out a laugh. On the nightstand, Liam's phone suddenly buzzed. The screen lit up, blindingly bright in the darkness. In the surrounding silence, I heard a cloying, pitiful girl's voice from the receiver. "Liam, I know I shouldn't call when you're home, but it's thundering outside, and I'm so scared. The suffocating feeling spread from my chest, making it hard to breathe. Liam, however, lowered his voice, coaxing her. It's okay. I've already told her everything. You just stay tucked in bed. All right. I'll come over to your place tonight. It was 2 in the morning. I was sitting in Liam's study. He always had a habit of backing up his chat logs, afraid of losing important client information. Thankfully, he hadn't changed his screen lock password. It was still our daughter's birthday. I scrolled through his dense chat history with Mandy. A staggering 26,893 messages. Last week, Mandy had texted Liam. Liam, I made a bunch of dishes tonight. It's my first time ever cooking. I learned just for you. Tell me I did a good job. Liam had replied instantly. Mandy, you don't have to change yourself to please me. You're already perfect just the way you are. I love you for the pure and wonderful person you are. Mandy sent a crying emoji. You're going to spoil me. A man should spoil his woman. What's wrong with that? My hands trembled as I scrolled further up. Last month, on the day of our 7th wedding anniversary, he had slept with Mandy that afternoon. Even on his way home, he was texting her reminders. It still looks a little red. Make sure you put some more cream on it tonight. Okay. Mandy sent a shy emoji. I know. You worrywart. It's all your fault. I don't want to do it from behind anymore. But Liam, can you promise me you won't touch her again? My heart breaks just thinking about you two kissing. Silly girl. After going at it 8 times this afternoon. You think I'm made of steel. I scrolled for a long time. Finally, I found the chat log from 2 years ago. After their first time. Back then, she didn't call him by his first name. Mr. Miller. What happened last night was my choice. You don't have to be responsible. I know you were just drunk when you held me and kissed me like that. I understand. Just having had you once is enough for me. But I still want you to know. You were my first. I could tell Liam had been conflicted. He didn't reply until the early hours of the morning. I wasn't drunk enough to lose control. I kissed you because I couldn't help myself. I felt sick. I couldn't read anymore. After backing up all their chat logs to a USB drive, I hugged myself, curled up in the chair, and let out a choked sob. I wanted to wail but had to force it down, terrified of waking my sleeping daughter next door. My heart felt like it was being shredded by a million tiny blades. After so many years, I had grown used to having Liam by my side. To suddenly have to cut him out. It was a lie to say it didn't hurt. After I calmed down, I called my father in London. It was 8 hours behind New York. So it was early evening there. Dad, Liam is having an affair. I'm preparing to divorce him. You should pull your investment from his company. Liam never knew. When his company was on the verge of bankruptcy, it was my father who, acting as an investor, put in a large sum of money to help him through the crisis. My parents divorced when I was very young. I had stayed in the States with my mother. It was only a few years ago that I reconnected with my father and learned he had founded his own successful company abroad. To secure that investment for Liam, I had flown overseas, enduring endless scorn and from my stepmother. My stepbrother sprayed me with a water gun, and I had to bear it. My stepmother made me massage her legs and pour her foot bath water, and I had to smile through it. Even at the dinner table, when she insinuated I was a beggar asking for money and called me a jinx, I had to pretend I didn't understand. My father, despite favoring his son, felt guilty towards me and agreed to help Liam. But because my mother hated my father with a passion, I never dared to mention any of this. Liam thought his own exceptional abilities had attracted the investor. I knew he was proud, so I never exposed the truth. I didn't sleep all night. The next day, I took our daughter to kindergarten as usual, curious about what Mandy looked like. I went to a coffee shop across from Liam's office building. I sat by the window and waited for 3 hours. Finally, in the evening, Liam came out. With him was a young, beautiful girl with a sweet smile. I messaged my mom to pick up our daughter from kindergarten. Afraid of drawing Liam's attention, I simply hailed a cab and followed his car. The car drove into a newly built villa community by the river. The area was deserted. Only the lights in Liam's villa were on. The balcony door on the 2nd floor was open. The white curtains billowed in the wind. Through a gap, I saw Mandy dressed in a bunny outfit, complete with pink ears and a black chain around her neck. Liam was leaning back on the sofa. Mandy giggled as she knelt on his lap. She used her mouth to undo the buttons of his shirt. one by one. His eyes were fixed on her, filled with a lust so intense he looked like he wanted to devour her whole. It was nothing like when he was with me, which always felt like a chore he had to complete. Mandy's head moved down along his abdomen. Liam's body suddenly tensed, his Adam's apple bobbing. A few minutes later, Liam impatiently pulled Mandy into his arms and kissed her fiercely. I watched them embrace tightly, watched as Liam pressed Mandy against the floor. 2. Ceiling window. They're entwined. Swaying bodies were silhouetted against the white curtains. I raised my phone. I zoomed in and took several pictures, and recorded a video. Evidence is far more useful than tears and tantrums. You can't appeal to the conscience of a cheating man. That evening, after putting our daughter to bed, I sent Liam a message. I told him I agreed to the divorce, but we had to wait until after our daughter's 5th birthday next month. Withdrawing the investment would take time, but I never expected the ever-composed Liam to be so impatient. At a mutual friend's birthday party, knowing full well I would be there, he openly brought Mandy along. I was late due to traffic. Standing outside the private room, I overheard Liam's friend, Mark, trying to reason with him. You can't be serious, Liam. These young girls nowadays are not simple. Don't be fooled by their pretty faces. Claire is the one who went through thick and thin with you. She's the real deal. The one who wants to build a life with you. Liam was leaning back in his chair, smoking, one leg crossed over the other. Mark, I know you mean well, but Mandy isn't the kind of girl you think she is. She's as pure as a blank sheet of paper. Whenever he talked about her, Liam's tone would soften unconsciously, but when he mentioned me, it was tinged with a deep sense of helplessness. I admit Claire is a good woman, but even if she were a goddess, after 10 years, you get tired of it. I can't even get hard for her anymore. All she talks about now are household chores and family matters. She restricts everything I do, telling me not to eat cold things, controlling my drinking and smoking. This kind of life, where you can see the end from the beginning, is like a pool of stagnant water. I dream of escaping, but Mandy is different. She'll play with me on the beach, demand a kiss in the middle of a snowy street, and drag me to splash in puddles like a cute little lunatic when it rains. When I'm with her, I'm not Lily's father, not Claire's husband, not my parents' son. I'm just Liam. I can be as reckless as I want. After hearing this, Mark didn't seem to want to say any more. He just patted Liam's shoulder, speaking with the wisdom of experience. But Liam, life has to be grounded in reality. Romance is for dating. Marriage is a mess of trivialities. I'm telling you this now. You'll regret losing Claire. Mark my words. Liam irritably stubbed out his cigarette. Don't worry. The word regret doesn't exist in my vocabulary. I've been the breadwinner all these years. Claire eats what I provide, wears what I provide. Where would she enjoy such a comfortable life without me? I haven't treated her unfairly. For the rest of my life, I want to live for myself. Before Liam could finish, I pushed the door open and walked in. The atmosphere in the room turned strange. Everyone's eyes darted back and forth between me, Liam, and Mandy. I acted as if I didn't see. I was carrying a birthday cake. I walked confidently towards tonight's birthday girl. Chloe, happy birthday, darling. She was Mark's wife, a bold and straightforward woman. We were good friends. During dinner, Chloe, wanting to stick up for me, deliberately gave Mandy a hard time. Hey, what's your name? Mandy. We have a tradition in our circle. Newcomers have to make a toast to everyone at the table. First cup. You toast Claire. The air instantly tensed. All eyes were on Mandy. It was the first time I had gotten a good look at her tonight. She wore a pale pink dress, her smooth hair falling over her shoulders. She looked fragile and innocent. Mandy's fingers gently clutched her glass, her voice as faint as a mosquito's buzz. I don't drink. Chloe sneered. Practice makes perfect. Since you're already Liam's mistress, we'll be seeing a lot more of each other. Mandy's face changed. She bit her lip, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, as if she had been terribly wronged. Liam couldn't sit still any longer. Chloe, don't give her a hard time. She's just a young girl. She's sensitive. Not like you all. I'll drink this for her. I looked up at Liam. His gaze flickered for a second. Then it met mine again. Resolute. Oh, getting protective already. Chloe let out a cold laugh, slamming her wine glass on the table with a loud thud. Liam, you sure know how to dote on someone. How come we never see you doting on your own wife? His brow furrowed, his tone turning cold. Chloe, this is our family business. Stay out of it. Mark was frantically tugging on Chloe's clothes under the table. She shook him off. Family business. Chloe's voice rose sharply. You're defending your mistress in front of all these people and you call it family business. Liam, have you no shame? The atmosphere at the table froze completely. Some people lowered their heads, pretending to drink. Others glanced at me furtively, as if trying to gauge my reaction. I remained seated, my face a mask of calm. It was Mandy who was a mess. Her eyes were red, her voice choked with sobs. I'm sorry, Liam. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have come. With that, she stood up and ran out, crying. Liam glared at me, then got up and chased after her. Claire, are you okay? Chloe's voice was filled with concern. I shook my head. Thank you, Chloe, she sighed, her heart aching for me. You're always so calm. If it were me, I would have flipped the table by now. I chatted with Chloe for a little while longer. She got up to take a call outside. I went to the restroom and unexpectedly ran into Mandy, who had already been comforted by Liam. She was standing in front of the mirror, touching up her makeup. The cold, white light from above shone down on us. With Liam gone, Mandy dropped her fragile act. She asked me angrily, Claire, did you deliberately have Chloe make things difficult for me? Was there any need for that? She looked me straight in the eye, her gaze defiant. Of course, there was. Liam is divorcing you. You're jealous of me. You hate me, don't you? My voice was cold. Jealous of what? Jealous that you're a homewrecker at such a young age. Or jealous that you're picking up a man I'm done with. Mandy's eyes widened like saucers, anger boiling within them. Stop pretending, Claire. Liam doesn't love you anymore. He loves me, no matter how unwilling you are. You can't change that fact. Giving me a hard time will only make him despise you more. How pathetic. I looked at her, my expression unwavering. In this divorce, Liam is the one at fault. I will make him leave with nothing. When that happens, I'll have a house, money, and my daughter. My life will be free and happy. What's so pathetic about that? I let out a soft laugh. You, on the other hand, a girl in her 20s, will have to serve his whole family, wiping his paralyzed mother's behind, dealing with a difficult sister-in-law. Now that's truly pathetic. A flicker of panic crossed Mandy's eyes, but she quickly regained her composure and retorted, Claire, in your dreams. You haven't worked in years. All the family's money was earned by Liam alone. Why should you get to take it? You won't get Liam, and you won't get his money. So that was it. All she cared about was where Liam's money went. I wondered how she would handle it when Liam became a pauper. The outcome was already set. I couldn't be bothered with her anymore and turned to leave the restroom. In the hallway, I ran into Liam. He immediately started questioning me. Claire, why did you instigate Chloe to give Mandy a hard time? I never realized you were such a malicious person. You were the one who agreed to the divorce. That's the only reason I brought Mandy to the party. And I'm the one who cheated. I'm the one who's wronged you. Take your anger out on me. Mandy is just a young girl. How could she handle being humiliated by you and Chloe like that? I stared at Liam and sneered. And I never realized your IQ was so low. Just then, Mandy came out of the restroom. Seeing Liam, she crashed into his arms like a startled fawn. 2 teardrops clung to her eyelashes, perfectly poised to fall, making her look utterly pitiful. She played the part of the considerate, big picture thinker. Liam, it's okay if I'm a little wronged. Please, don't make things hard for Claire because of me. I'm begging you. Liam raised a hand to wipe her tears, his tone softening. You're always so accommodating, always thinking of me. From now on, I won't let you bear this alone. Mandy lowered her head. Tears streamed from her eyes, drop by drop, hitting Liam's shirt and searing his heart. Just hearing you say that makes my life complete. I couldn't stand to watch another second of this sickening display. I turned and walked away indifferently. I sent Chloe a text. Darling, sorry for ruining your birthday party tonight. I'll treat you to a spa day to make it up. The moment I stepped out of the restaurant, a night breeze hit my face. I looked up at the sky. The stars were sparse. The moonlight was dim. I couldn't wait to see the look on Liam's face when he became a pauper again. Mandy, you will never be a rich man's wife in this lifetime. I got home around 10 in the evening, Our daughter was asleep. My mom was dozing off on the living room sofa. Her phone slipped from her hand and clattered onto the floor. The noise startled her awake. She saw me taking off my coat and draping it over the sofa. She glanced behind me and started grumbling. Liam's not back again. It's so late, and he lets you come home alone. I don't know how much money he's making that he can't even come home. Claire, it's not that I'm nagging you, but you need to pay more attention. Young girls these days are all after successful 30-something men like Liam. Don't let someone sneak in without you even knowing. You have to maintain your marriage. My mother despised cheating more than anything, because my father had cheated on her. They divorced when I was only 6. To this day, I remember her clinging to my father's leg, screaming and crying, begging him not to leave. But my father left without a backward glance. Since then, my mother has told everyone my father is dead. Even Liam believed it. I didn't know how to tell my mom about the divorce. Just looking at her made me feel wronged. My mom asked urgently, "What is it, sweetheart? Why are your eyes red? What happened?" I bit my lip, struggling to speak. "Mom, Liam and I are getting a divorce. He is someone else." My mom froze for a few seconds. Then she slapped my shoulder, a look of utter disappointment on her face. "What did I tell you? I knew something was wrong with him being out all the time. I told you to pay attention, but you insisted he wasn't that kind of person. Now look, you're a 30-year-old woman with a child. What are you going to do after a divorce? Who will want you? You're going to suffer." She paced back and forth in front of the coffee table, scolding me for a good 10 minutes. Finally, she warned me, "Claire, you are not to get a divorce. Do you hear me? You don't need to worry about this. I'll handle it." My mom had a fiery temper. She stormed out, slamming the door. I couldn't stop her. Our daughter woke up from the noise and started crying. I had no choice but to go in and comfort her. Liam never expected Claire's mother to come looking for him. In his office, the old woman who was usually so feisty and sharp-tongued now stood before him, timid and hesitant. Her eyes filled with a plea he had never seen before. "Liam, you know how hard Claire's life has been. Her father died young, and I raised her all by myself. She suffered a lot with me. When she married you, I thought she could finally have a good life. But now, how can you two get a divorce?" Liam sat behind his desk, a slight frown on his face. "Mom, I know you care about Claire, but you can't force matters of the heart. There's no love left between us." Hearing this, his mother-in-law's voice suddenly became shrill. "What do you mean? No love left? When you had nothing, why didn't you say there was no love? Back then, you knelt before me and swore you would be good to Claire for the rest of your life. Now that you're successful, you say there's no love." The guilt in Liam's eyes deepened. He sighed, softening his tone. "Mom, I've wronged Claire, and I've wronged you, but rest assured, I will compensate Claire." Compensate? His mother-in-law let out a cold laugh, but tears streamed down her face. "Do you think Claire wants your money? Do you have any idea how much she suffered for you when you were starting your business? She stayed up all night helping you with documents, accompanying you to client dinners, drinking until her stomach bled without a single complaint. Now that you've made it, you're going to abandon her. Liam, are you even human?" Liam's fists were clenched tightly, his voice hoarse. "Mom, I know Claire sacrificed a lot for me, and I'm grateful, but there's no going back for us." Suddenly, his mother-in-law dropped to her knees in front of him. He rushed forward to help her up, his voice frantic. "Mom, don't do this. Please get up." But she clung to his arm, her voice trembling. "Liam, I'm begging you, don't get a divorce. Okay? You were husband and wife. For old time's sake, just take pity on Claire. And Lily is only 5. Can you really bear to let her lose her father?" Liam's hand trembled slightly, the guilt in his eyes nearly overflowing. But just then, his phone on the desk buzzed. It was a message from Mandy. "Liam, I just came from the hospital. The test results are in. I'm really pregnant. You're so potent. Liam, what a man. I'm going to be a mommy. I'm so happy I could cry." Liam's heart hardened. He gritted his teeth and said, "Mom, I can't promise you that." His mother-in-law's body went rigid. She slowly let go of his arm and slapped him hard across the face. Slap. The crisp sound echoed through the office. Liam's head snapped to the side. He didn't dodge, nor did he speak. Liam, you'll get what you deserve. With that, his mother, in-law, turned and staggered out. Her back was stooped, as if she had aged 10 years in an instant. After Chloe's birthday, Liam and I hadn't seen each other. Finally, the night of my daughter Lily's birthday arrived. I had promised her a long time ago that she could invite her friends from kindergarten to our house for her birthday, and that both Mommy and Daddy would be there with her. Lily had been looking forward to it for ages. I had demanded that Liam be present. Before the party, I had warned him specifically, even if we had to pretend. We had to act like a loving couple. We couldn't let Lily lose face in front of her friends and their parents or let them see that something was wrong. Once the party was over, we would file for divorce immediately. Liam had agreed. The living room was decorated with colorful balloons. A happy birthday banner was stretched across the wall. A birthday cake with 5 candles sat on the dining table. Lily, wearing a pink princess dress and a sparkly little tiara, said happily, "Daddy, Mommy, let's make a wish together." She stood before the cake, her little hands clasped together, and closed her eyes. Liam and I knelt on either side of her. Our faces were wreathed in gentle smiles, looking for all the world like a devoted couple. "I wish." Lily thought for a moment, then said in her soft, sweet voice, "that Daddy's work isn't so busy, so he can spend more time with me and Mommy." Liam's smile froze for a second. My eyes welled up. After Lily made her wish, Liam reached out and pulled me and our daughter into an embrace. "How about Daddy and Mommy help you blow out the candles?" "Yay! Yay!" Lily's eyes curved into little crescents as she smiled. 1, 2, 3. The moment the candles went out, the living room erupted in applause and cheers. The children chattered excitedly as they gathered around. The parents smiled and offered their blessings. Lily happily planted a kiss on both mine and Liam's cheeks. "Daddy, Mommy, I love you the most." Liam's throat moved, as if he wanted to say something, but in the end, he just ruffled Lily's hair, his voice a little hoarse. "Daddy loves you too." I looked down to hide my reddening eyes, but a smile remained on my lips. Just then, the doorbell rang. "I'll get it." A kind parent walked quickly to the door. The door opened, and Mandy's voice rang out. "Lily, Auntie is here with your birthday present." I looked up, my heart sinking like a stone. Mandy was standing in the doorway. A smile played on her lips. She was wearing a radiation-proof vest for pregnant women. She walked in, carrying a gift. Every step she took felt like it was treading on my last nerve. I turned my head and shot Liam a venomous glare. He frowned, clearly not expecting Mandy to show up either. Mandy walked over to Lily and knelt down. "Little Lily, happy birthday." Lily wrinkled her little brow and asked, "Who are you?" "Me. I'm your daddy's girlfriend. And your future." Slap. Before Mandy could finish her sentence, I slapped her across the face. Mandy staggered and fell to the ground, the gift box flying from her hands. The living room fell into a dead silence. Everyone was stunned. Even Liam was frozen in place. Mandy clutched her face, her eyes instantly turning red, her voice trembling. "Claire, I just came to drop off a gift." "Why did you hit me?" She quickly touched her stomach, as if afraid people wouldn't notice she was pregnant. Liam finally snapped out of it and rushed to help her up, his voice tense. "How are you? Are you hurt anywhere?" Mandy leaned into his arms, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I'm fine, Liam, but my stomach hurts a little." Liam looked up at me, his eyes filled with resentment. "Claire, you've gone too far. She's pregnant. How could you lay a hand on her?" "I've gone too far." I pulled Lily into my arms and sneered. "She says something like that at my daughter's birthday party. And you're asking who's gone too far?" "Liam, did you forget what you promised me?" He was speechless. He finally remembered his promise to give Lily a happy, respectable birthday party. He glanced at a terrified Lily, then down at Mandy in his arms, and finally said in a low voice, "Mandy, I promise you, this is the last time you'll have to suffer like this. Go home and wait for me." Mandy bit her lip and nodded pitifully. Before she left, she made sure to look back at me, her eyes glinting with a victor's triumph. The balloons in the living room were still drifting, but the air had turned chillingly cold. The other parents exchanged uneasy glances and quickly made their excuses to leave. After the crowd had dispersed, I forced a smile and put Lily to bed. When I returned to the living room, I could no longer suppress the rage boiling in my chest. Liam, you and Mandy make me sick. His brow was furrowed, his tone impatient. Claire, can you stop being so unreasonable? Mandy just came to drop off a gift. She meant no harm. No harm. I laughed coldly. The way she was acting. She might as well have announced to everyone that she's carrying your child. And you're still defending her. Liam was unapologetic. Her mind isn't as filthy as yours. Don't make it sound so ugly. Liam, search your conscience and ask yourself, from the day we started dating until now, have I, Claire, ever wronged you in any way? And now, for a mistress, you're willing to ruin even your own daughter's birthday. His expression faltered, but he quickly returned to his cold demeanor. I'll say this one last time. Mandy didn't mean it. You're being too sensitive. I almost laughed out loud. Fine. Since you're so determined to protect her, let's stop this charade. I took a deep breath and said, word by word, we get divorced tomorrow. All family assets and custody of Lily go to me. You get the company shares. Liam's eyes turned icy. Claire, so you're finally showing your true colors. In the end, it's all about the money for you. I stared at him. Liam, when you had nothing, who was it that stuck by you? Now that you're successful, you think I'm greedy. He was silent for a moment, then looked away. There's no need to bring up the past. Late that night, Liam drove to Mandy's place. When she saw him walk in, Mandy rushed over, barefoot, her eyes turning red on cue. Liam, I'm so sorry. Her voice trembled, tears falling like pearls. I just wanted to give Lily a gift, to get on good terms with her early on. I never thought it would turn out like this. Seeing Mandy's tear-streaked face, Liam's heart ached. He gently wiped her tears away. Stop crying. You're pregnant. You're so pure-hearted. Of course. I know you meant well. Mandy melted into his embrace, sobbing. Is Claire really angry? It's all my fault. I'm filing the divorce papers with her tomorrow. He rubbed his temples, his voice weary. Mandy looked up, her eyes still shimmering with tears, but a flicker of joy flashed through them. Really? She quickly composed herself, her expression turning to one of concern. Then, how will the assets be divided? I'm leaving with nothing. Mandy's fists clenched, but her face remained gentle. That's fair. After all, we're the ones who wronged her. She probed further. What about the company? The company is mine. Mandy secretly breathed a sigh of relief, but said aloud, it's just a shame. All the assets you've worked so hard for all these years will be handed over to someone else. I'm the one at fault. Consider it compensation for her and our daughter. As long as I still have the company, making money isn't a problem. Mandy was not satisfied, but she didn't dare show it, forcing a smile. Right. At least the company is still there. In the future, She paused deliberately, then shyly looked down. Liam, I'll give you a son. We can start over. I had always thought Lily was too young to understand anything. But tonight, before she went to sleep, she wrapped her small arms tightly around me, buried her face in my chest, and cried, Mommy, are you and Daddy getting a divorce? That lady tonight, Daddy is leaving us for her, isn't he? My heart felt like it was being violently squeezed. The pain was suffocating. I held Lily close, my voice gentle but firm. Sweetheart, there are some things you might not be able to understand right now, but Mommy will never, ever leave you. I will always love you. Lily cried herself to sleep in my arms. Even in her sleep, her little hand clutched my finger tightly, as if terrified of being abandoned. In a hazy dream, she even mumbled, I want Mommy. I want to be with Mommy. In that moment, my tears fell like rain. My own family was broken. More than anyone, I had hoped my child could grow up healthy and happy. But in the end, I had failed to protect my daughter. I was a failure as a mother. The next morning at 6, my mom rushed over. Lily was still asleep. Without even taking off her coat, my mom pulled me to the table. She solemnly handed me a bank card. Claire, there's $700,000 in this card. I sold the old house for $400,000. The other $300,000 is what I've saved over the years. Including the money you gave me, I saved it all. Now, I'm giving it all to you. My mom held my hand tightly, her voice trembling. I'm not a very capable person. All I've ever done in my life is run a small stall and dodge city inspectors. I couldn't give you a comfortable life. You suffered a lot with me. But Claire, we're not afraid, are we? It's just a divorce. You still have me. As long as I'm alive, I'll be your support. From now on, I'll help you raise Lily. We'll take this money and start a small business. We can still have a good life. She forced a cheerful smile, tilting her head up to keep the tears from falling. I've lived long enough to understand one thing clearly. Men, they're all worthless dogs. You can't rely on them. From now on, it's just the three of us women. Living a good life is all that matters. I clutched the bank card, so choked up I couldn't speak. I was filled with guilt and regret. My mother, at her age, still had to worry about me. I'm sorry, Mom. My mom hugged me, her heart aching. What are you crying for? Silly girl. From now on, we don't have to serve any man. Isn't that a great life? Be good, Claire. Mom is always here for you. That morning, Liam and I finalized the divorce. He left with none of the marital assets. I agreed to give up my shares in the company. A week later, my father sent me a message. He said Liam's recent investments had all been abruptly halted, causing huge losses for the company. The shareholders were planning to convene a board meeting to remove Liam from his position as CEO. Furthermore, my father had not withdrawn his shares. Instead, he had quietly acquired more, becoming the company's largest shareholder, which meant, in the future, the controlling shareholder of the company would be my father. Liam had always been overconfident. To stabilize the situation, he had boasted that he would personally fly to Germany to secure a client. The day Liam flew to Germany, I took moving men to the house Mandy was living in, to evict her. Because Liam had bought it during our marriage. It was marital property. It was mine. I stood in the entryway, coldly watching Mandy's delicate face twist in horror. What are you doing? This is my house. She clutched her phone tightly. I'm calling Liam. Go ahead. I leisurely surveyed the room. But he's on a flight to Germany right now. His phone is off. Liam still didn't know. The major clients he had lost were all my father's contacts. This German client, in particular, was an old friend of my father's. There was no way for him to salvage it. This was a trap my father had set to oust him. The movers had already started carrying things out. Mandy's Chanel coat was tossed carelessly on a cardboard box, like a dirty rag. Claire. Her voice was as shrill as scraping glass. On what grounds? On the grounds that the deed has Liam's name on it. It's marital property. And now, it's mine. The color drained from Mandy's face. I then noticed several Hermes boxes scattered at her feet. Liam had been very generous. I gestured to the movers. Throw all of this out. You can keep the clothes and shoes. After all, I looked Mandy up and down. You should get a little something for services rendered. Mandy lunged at me but was blocked by the movers. She screamed hysterically. Claire, if Liam finds out you're bullying me like this, he won't let you get away with it. I calmly turned and walked towards the window. The sunlight outside was blinding, making my eyes ache. Behind me, I heard something crash to the floor. All of Mandy's dignity was being trampled underfoot in that moment, utterly crushed. Once the last item was cleared out, I told her coldly, Liam can barely save himself right now. How is he going to stand up for you? Mandy, I'm waiting to see how this ends for you both. She didn't understand what I meant and tried to ask more. But the men I hired dragged her away. I locked the door and stood alone in this space that was so full of their presence. A photo of them in the Maldives was still hanging on the wall. Mandy, in a bikini, was clinging to Liam, her smile blindingly bright. I picked up the photo frame and smashed it against the wall. Glass shattered everywhere. I took out my phone, snapped a few pictures, and sent them to a real estate agent. You can list it for sale now. As I walked out the main gate, the autumn wind swirled a few dead leaves past my feet. I got into my car without looking back. In the rearview mirror, the villa grew smaller and smaller, eventually becoming a blurry dot, just like some people, destined to disappear completely from my life. A month later, the board of directors forced Liam to sell his shares at an extremely low price, with the alternative being prison time. His position was also terminated. He lost everything overnight. The day he left the company, a light rain was falling. Liam clutched a cardboard box, his tie loosened. The once confident and successful man now looking utterly defeated. He hadn't been able to win back the German client. During the board vote, Even his most trusted vice president had betrayed him. The rain soaked his suit, the chill seeping into his skin. Liam. A steady voice called out from behind him. Liam turned to see a man in a black coat holding an umbrella. He was in his 50s, with a familiar look in his eyes. You are Claire's father. Liam's pupils contracted. Wasn't Claire's father dead? My father sneered, rainwater dripping in a steady stream from the edge of his umbrella. 2 years ago, when your capital chain broke, it was Claire who begged me to invest. My current wife despises her. To make things difficult, she made Claire kneel on the cobblestones in the courtyard for 4 hours. By the time I got home, her knees were covered in blood, but she didn't make a sound. Want to know why the German client suddenly backed out of the deal? My father's tone was harsh. You failed my daughter. This is the price. Liam's eyes widened in disbelief. This. You ungrateful bastard. You don't deserve her. The rain fell harder. Liam saw Rolls Royce parked behind my father. In the shadows of the back seat sat Claire, wearing sunglasses. She was looking at him with complete indifference, as if he were a stranger. He staggered forward, wanting to approach, but my father blocked him. Liam, if you hadn't betrayed Claire, I would have ensured you a lifetime of stability for her sake. You have no one to blame but yourself for where you are today. Stay away from my daughter from now on. Get lost. It was only then that Liam finally understood. His success was given to him by Claire. From the moment he cheated, from the moment he decided to leave Claire, his current downfall was sealed. Later, Liam tried to find me. I refused to see him every time. Once Liam lost his CEO title and was penniless, Mandy's ugly nature was fully revealed. She started complaining about living in a rented apartment. She pushed Liam to move into his mother's current house. But the house his mother lived in was also mine. I had only let them stay there temporarily out of consideration for the old woman's paralysis. But I charged them rent. My difficult sister-in-law came to my door, calling me heartless. But she stopped coming after a while. I heard Mandy's older brother had started harassing her, cornering her at her company, demanding money. Mandy's brother was an uneducated, crude man with a sleeve of tattoos. Using Mandy's pregnancy as leverage, he tried to force Liam to borrow money to buy a house, saying his sister couldn't suffer like this. When Liam had no money, he went after Liam's sister. Mandy even threatened that if there was no house, she would have an abortion. She would absolutely not get married in a rented apartment. Liam called her cruel, saying it was a life. Mandy finally laid her cards on the table. Liam, what did you think I was with you for? You're 8 years older than me. If it weren't for your money, do you think a girl as pretty as me would have ever been with you? Take a look at yourself in the mirror. If you still want this child, you'll do what I say. I don't care if you have to borrow or steal. But I want a house. And my name must be on the deed. Don't expect me to be like Claire, living in a basement with you, eating instant noodles and plain buns. That's impossible. I'm not stupid like her. Liam suddenly remembered a cold winter 10 years ago. On Claire's birthday, they were huddled under a single blanket on the wooden bed in their rented room, shivering from the cold. On the small table in front of them was a cheap 35 cake, with a single candle on it. Before the candle burned out, Claire had clasped her hands together and made a heartfelt wish. He had held her tightly from behind, filled with guilt. Claire, I'm sorry you have to suffer with me, but believe in me. I will make it. Claire had smiled and turned, pecking him on the lips. I believe in you. Liam, I'm not afraid of hardship, as long as we have each other. Tears welled up in his eyes. Liam finally understood the bitter taste of regret. A surge of rage coursed through him. Without thinking, he raised his hand and slapped Mandy, growling through gritted teeth. Don't you dare mention Claire's name. Seeing his sister get hit, Mandy's brother flew into a rage. He lunged forward and punched Liam in the face. The two of them started brawling. The apartment was trashed. The noise alerted the neighbors. Someone called the police. When the police arrived, both men were on the floor, their faces covered in blood. After receiving basic medical attention, they were each detained for 7 days. I started practicing yoga again. 6 months later, I successfully opened my own yoga studio. On opening day, Chloe brought a group of wealthy women to show their support. In the 6 months since my divorce, she had often been by my side. She said, Claire, I envy you. Unlike me, even though Mark and I are just going through the motions, We can never get to the point of divorce. Our financial interests are too tightly bound. Years ago, Mark had an affair with his secretary. Chloe had caught them in the act. Although Chloe paid off the secretary and Mark returned to the family, a broken mirror can never be truly whole again. They were just making do. Yes, making do. Chloe said that many people in this world trap themselves in the cage of marriage for one reason or another. Those who can successfully walk away from a failed marriage and live well are the lucky ones. I was busy until late that evening before closing up. I planned to treat Chloe to a lavish dinner to thank her. I locked the door, turned around, and was surprised to see Liam. Under the streetlight, Liam stood on the steps. His suit was wrinkled like a preserved vegetable. The wrapping on the bouquet of pink roses in his hand rustled. He reeked of alcohol. When he looked up at me, the stubble on his chin was dark, and his eyes were bloodshot. "Claire, congratulations on your opening." His voice was incredibly hoarse. The hand holding the flowers was shaking. Chloe stepped forward and slapped the bouquet out of his hand. The sound of the wrapping paper tearing scared away a stray cat. I couldn't even bear to look at Liam. I pulled Chloe. "Let's go." But Liam suddenly grabbed my wrist. "Claire, is there really no chance for us?" I shook him off and kept walking. Liam chased after me, nearly tripping on the steps. "Claire, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Please, just give me one more chance." "Okay." Chloe pulled me behind her and yelled, "Liam, who do you think you're putting on this pathetic show for? If Mandy were still clinging to you, if the board hadn't kicked you out, would you even remember who Claire is?" His shoulders slumped. The alcohol made his eyes red, but it couldn't hide the wretchedness within. "I know I deserve this. If you know, then get lost." I cut him off coldly. "But Lily is only 5. She needs a father." The corner streetlight illuminated the tear tracks on his face. Can't we please try to? Needs a father." My voice was terrifyingly calm. "When she had a 104-degree fever, you were in Mandy's bed. During her kindergarten performance, you were on vacation with Mandy. Is that the fatherly love you gave Lily?" He looked as if he'd been struck, staggering back 2 steps. The alcohol seemed to have worn off. His face was ashen. The car Chloe called had arrived. She opened the door at the right moment. I bent down to get in and heard Liam's broken voice. "At least, let me see Lily." I didn't look back. "You don't deserve to." The car started. In the rearview mirror, Liam was stumbling, chasing after the car, his tie flapping in the wind like a noose. After that night, I never saw Liam again. The yoga studio's business thrived. I soon opened 2 more locations. My mom moved in with me to help with picking up and dropping off Lily, but I never told her about reconnecting with my father. I was afraid of dredging up her painful past. My father met with me in private a few times. He transferred all his company shares to me. He said he would hire people to manage the business, that I wouldn't have to worry about a thing and could just collect the dividends each year. He said my stepmother didn't know about this. It was his way of compensating me. Speaking of the past, I learned that my father had been forced to marry my mother. They had vast cultural differences and no common ground. My mother was from the countryside and had no education. My father was from the city and had met my mother during a difficult time in his life. A marriage like that was bound to end in divorce. But cheating was still his fault. He said he had no right to ask for my mother's forgiveness, only that he hoped we could live better lives. I didn't have deep feelings for this father of mine. But in handling the situation with Liam, he had indeed done what a father should do, protecting me completely. I didn't refuse the shares. After everything I'd been through, I had learned one thing. All feelings can change. The only security is having money in your own hands. I would give Lily the best life possible. Later, much later, Liam started drinking heavily and gave up on work. Mandy, finding him poor and unwilling to suffer with him, had an abortion and found herself a richer, older man. But this time, she bet on the wrong horse. She messed with the wrong person. When the affair was discovered, the man's wife hired thugs to throw acid on Mandy's face. She was disfigured. I heard she couldn't accept what had happened to her face and went insane. Her family had her committed to a psychiatric hospital, and the once proud and arrogant Liam completely disappeared from our social circle. Before he left the city, he met with Mark one last time. "Mark, you were right. I regret it. If only I had listened to your advice back then." Mark told me that Liam now walked with a limp. Mandy's brother had tried to extort money from him. When Liam couldn't pay, the brother got drunk and beat him so badly he crippled him. But none of that had anything to do with me anymore. There are no do-overs in life. Liam and I, in the end, were just passers-by in each other's lives.